Hey everyone, welcome to another BTM screencast. Today we're going over Chapter 1 in the Plumber's Toolbox. So after completing this chapter, you should be able to identify and describe the hand tools that you commonly use in plumbing. Use hand tools in a safe and appropriate manner, which we're all about in BTM. So plumbing tools fall under one of two categories, hand tools and power tools. For this chapter, we're going to be focusing mainly on the hand tools. Hand tools are manually operated, not as expensive as power tools, equally important in completing a task or project, and most employers expect you to have a certain number of hand tools, nothing fancy, but at least basic ones to perform your job. Here's a quick overview of some of the lists. The lists that some plumbers may or may not have. So you can see a lot of these are ones that we've already used, such as a tape measure, screwdrivers, another screwdriver. Those are the ones with the interchangeable heads. We'll go over these as well as those. Adjustable wrench you should be familiar with. Pipe wrench, the 18 and 24 inch are the most common that you'll see. Smooth jaw pipe wrench, basin wrench, a claw hammer. Plumbers usually have a 16-ounce claw hammer. Cat's paw, you should be familiar with that. Allen wrenches, wood chisels. These are used by plumbers to split pieces of wood so they can get their pipes in. Concrete chisel, nut driver, tubing cutters, smaller tubing cutters, and you can see that the list goes on. One thing to note with the tape measures is the most common are 25 feet long, and the blades are about 1.25 inches wide. As for the Phillips screwdrivers, the most common sizes of those are number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now here's some more of the tools that you may see or require. Mini hacksaw, tubing cutter, an inside PVC pipe cutter, utility blade, snips, we already went over those, pencil, I hope you know what that is, speed square, basket strainer tool or internal wrench, we'll be going over that, torpedo level, and a 2-foot level. Now, one thing that you'll notice on the ones that the plumbers use is that some of them have the ability where you could use it. There's measurement within the vial, and it'll let you know what your pitch is. So you're able to get a dimension from that and measure with it, which is kind of neat. PEX, we'll have some of that. Our torch regulator assemblies also have the striker built in. Plumb bob, chalk box, adjustable angle pliers, adjustable wrench, and again, pipe wrenches, most common sizes, 18 to 24 inches. So a level is one of the most important tools in a plumber's toolbox. If you're working on a waste system, they always need to be pitched downhill, and you always want to make sure that the work that you're putting in is plumb. A level has tubes partially filled with colored liquid, leaving a trapped air bubble. Of course, the ones that we use in BTM, the tubes look kind of like that, with lines here, and then the bubble in the middle if it's level or if it's plumb. Now, as I said before, some levels have a dimensional feature that can be used for measuring distances, and that'll be, fractions of an inch. So it'll be an 1/8 inch, but if you're at a 2-foot level, that'll be an 1/8 inch over 2 feet. Here we have a torpedo level, and what looks to be a 2-foot level. Tape measures. There are numerous makes and models of tape measures, as you've seen in BTM. They vary in blade width and length. Most of them, again, 1.25 inches wide, 25 feet long. The ones that we have that they mention here, the retractable type with the pocket clip is the most common. And other types include the folding ruler, which we've already used, and the wind-up tape measure, which is generally 50 to 100 feet. And here's some examples. The framing square is a tool used for laying out angles. It has two edges that form a 90-degree angle. You should be familiar with this from the work that we did in carpentry. A speed square, which is like the framing square's little brother, is used to mark boards for cutting. So it has three edges, so you can still get a 90, but one side is also a 45, and they look something like this. So of course here in the corner is your 90, and then here is your 45. And here's a picture between the two. So this one here is your framing square, and this one here, your speed square. Screwdrivers are available in many lengths and shank diameters. Phillips and slotted heads are two types used by plumbers. So of course the slotted looks like that, and the Phillips looks more like a cross. Hopefully yours don't look that bad. And again, the most common screws that you'll have will be number 1, number 2, and number 3 heads. And here's an example of some screwdrivers. The one on the bottom has interchangeable tips, and the one on the top is a slotted. Pliers are available in various styles. The most common type has an angled and grooved jaws, which we'll see in a minute. Most pliers used in the plumbing trade have cushion handle grips. So here we go. You can't see the joint on this one. These are referred to slip joint, where they'll be able to slide back and forth to change the spacing in the jaw. This type, these can be called pump pliers. The brand that a lot of people are familiar with is Channel Lock. We'll be going over these more in class. Adjustable wrenches are available in a variety of sizes. Some have a cushion grip, some don't. And their jaw opening is adjustable and smooth. I think many of you are familiar with this. They're fairly common. Pipe wrenches have grooved jaws designed to provide grip for working with metal piping systems. The two most common sizes are 18 and 24 inch. All pipe wrenches have an adjustment range for various pipe or fitting sizes, so the shorter ones will work with a smaller diameter, and the larger ones, it'll increase in diameter. A spud wrench, strap wrench, or chain wrench may be required in some special circumstances, and we'll look at those in a second. So here we have a strap wrench. If any of you, this is very kind of familiar, like an oil filter wrench. It's the same idea. And up here we have our pipe wrench, and you could see these jaws are fairly aggressive, so they're able to grab onto a pipe. Numerous hammer types are available with different heads, claws, and weights. Again, plumbers most commonly use 16-ounce hammers. For a plumber, the type of claw is the most important factor regarding the selection of a hammer. So over here, you guys should be kind of familiar. Those are the ones that we use most of the time. And on this one, you may have not seen this before. This is a ball peen hammer. Plastic pipe saw can be used to cut both ABS and PVC pipe. We will be working with PVC pipe in the lab. They're available in short and long blade styles. Their cutting teeth are closer together than a wood cutting saw and further apart than a metal cutting saw. So you can see where the teeth are here. If you compare this to the hand saws that we have in lab for wood, Again, the teeth are closer together than what the wood saws are, but they're further apart than what the hacksaw blades are for cutting metal. An inside plastic pipe cutter can be used to reach a plastic pipe in a difficult location. So these are pretty cool. I've seen these before. If you have a pipe like this, you can actually cut from the inside of the pipe rather than the outside. There's various designs available, and they all range in pricing and in size. Here's a plastic pipe cutter. We'll be using one similar to this for cutting PEX. Metal cutting saws are versatile tools designed to cut through metal. There's numerous blade types that are available with various numbers of teeth per inch. Different types of metal will require more teeth or less teeth. We'll go more in depth when we're in lab. And here's an example of two different hacksaws. Wallboard saws, you should be familiar with this from last marking period. Two types commonly used are the compass saw and the wallboard saw. The compass saw is designed to cut circular holes, but is capable of making square cuts. The wallboard saw is shorter, more rigid than the compass saw. So here's a quick side-by-side. Obviously this is the one for the wallboard, and this is the compass saw. You can see the difference on the teeth. These are a little bit more fine, these are a little bit more aggressive. Aviation snips, they're also known as tin snips. They're used to cut band iron and sheet metal duct or piping. The most common are offered in 3 different styles that cut in 3 different directions. So we have the straight, the left, and the right. Their cushion grip handles are color-coded, indicating the direction of the cut. So straight are yellow, left are green, and red are right. And of course, here we are. So here's our straight, here's our right, here's our left. Nail pullers, again, you should be familiar with these. They're used to remove nails from wood boards before drilling or cutting holes to avoid damage and personal injury. Always a good thing if you can avoid being hurt. The most common are the flat bar, and I don't know why they say nail paw. You guys know the cat's paw. Knives. So again, these are used throughout all trades. They're commonly used for cutting wallboard or drywall, boxes, or tape. Here's an example of some of them. You guys have seen these in the lab, I'm sure. If not, you will be. Wood chisels are used for notching and splitting pieces of wood boards, again, in case they need to get pipes in. And you guys should have seen wood chisels in this lab. If not, we will be going over them. Chisels used for chipping concrete have a blunter cutting edge than wood chisels and are called cold chisels. And we covered this in the masonry portion of this class. So here's an example. So of course over here we have our wood chisels. You can tell that these are sharper. And there's a little clip to put on so you don't damage the blade or get cut. And then over here you can see that these are much more blunt. And these are for chipping concrete away or stone, whatever you need. Basin wrench. They have a spring-loaded swivel head. They're used to install and remove securing nuts of a faucet and water supply connections in confined spaces. So these come in handy if you're working underneath a sink. And you can see right here, this is the spring-loaded jaw, and it'll grab on and allow you to turn what you need. Basket strainer tools. These are becoming less common because the increased use of PVC and plastics. But strainer forks are used for strainers and tub drains. An internal wrench is a multi-purpose tool that allows an installer to tighten or remove parts to a plumbing fixture. The internal wrench has a range from 1 to 2 inches. And this is what they look like. And again, these are becoming less common because of the increased use of PVC. Tubing cutters use metal rollers and a cutting wheel to rotate around the pipe, and we'll be going over how to use these. And on the end of it, they have a device known as a reamer, which is necessary after you cut. So here's the rolling wheels. Here's the cutting wheel. This handle gets turned in gradually as the whole assembly rotates around the pipe. After you're done cutting, where you cut, this will be used to remount the hole to make sure that there's no burrs or anything like that. A copper flaring tool flares the end of soft copper tubing, creating a 45-degree angle to mate with a compatible brass flared fitting. Now what it does, if you have your copper tube coming down like this, is it'll take the end and it'll flare it out at a 45. So this is supposed to be 45-degree angle. And as you all know, I'm not an artist. And this is the tool that does it. So you can see that this lip right here is what will give you the flare on your copper. The copper tubing bender is used to create bends in copper tube. As the name suggests, it's useful for tight spaces and for achieving a professional appearance. And this is what it looks like, and you can see that there's angles on the side, so it'll let you know at what angle you're bending the copper tubing at. The torch regulator. So a typical torch assembly consists of a regulator that controls the amount of flammable gas. For us, we use propane. And it either increases or decreases the flow depending on what you want. And a torch tip with an orifice specifically designed for the type of gas and a specific torch assembly. These are the ones that we have. They're turbo torches. You don't need to know that's the brand, but ours come with an igniter on it. So these are the ones that we have. This is the regulator that allows you to increase or decrease the amount of gas. Here's the ignition button that allows you to ignite the gas. These we don't use in lab, so you don't need to worry about it. Flexible pipe tools are offered in several sizes. The most common used are for 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch pipe. We will be using 1/2 inch PEX in the lab. Two common PEX tools are categorized as crimping and expanding. We'll be going over crimping. We won't be using expanding tools. The tools are used for specific products and are not interchangeable. And a lot of the people have different brands. Some of the brands don't work for other ones. They have different fittings, and you need to use the tools that they suggest for the fittings in order for them to work. And here's the crimping tools. Now on this one, you can see the top is for 1/2 inch, and this one is for 3/4 inch. Plumber provides an accurate method of establishing a vertical point of reference to a lower area. So if we wanted to figure out where we're going to put this hole in the floor, we could hang a plumb bob from up top, and it'll give us our point that we need right there. And it's an easy way to transfer a mark from up high to down low without having to measure or get a straight edge or level or anything else. That's what they look like. And of course in here, you have your line coming out. Chalk box, all of you should be familiar with this. Of course, there they are. Torque wrench is used to tighten clamps, used in installing cast iron pipe, and for rubber transition connectors or dissimilar piping. It has a 5/16 or 3/8 inch socket end. Purchased based on pounds of torque, so pounds per foot. Most common torque is 60 inch-pounds, so that's 60 pounds per inch. And again, these are for specific applications. Don't get too caught up on this. We won't be going over it in lab that often. There's an example of a torque wrench. And of course, PPE. So you should have eye protection, face protection, hand protection, knee protection, foot protection, inhalation protection, first aid kit, and head protection. So in summary, hand tools are required to install various aspects of a plumbing system. A plumber may be responsible for purchasing hand tools, we went over in the beginning. Specialty hand tools are required more for repair than for new installation work. And everyone on a job site is responsible for safety. Personal protection equipment is provided by an employer. Material safety data sheet, now we just refer to those as SDS, so safety data sheet, lists all safety hazards and medical attention requirements for a specific product. SDS must be available for all products and kept on file on the job site. So I have that, and you guys also have access to it. That's it, and see you next time.